Anyway, the Hurts, back to them. It was 4 minutes to 9, the magic hour, when they send out the stars, and it's Lashley and MVP and Shelton Benjamin. And Lashley's going to have his debut match on television. And first of all, they called it this is a 2-on-1 match instead of a handicap match. Is that like midget wrestling? Are you not allowed to say handicap match? Has that ever, are golfers allowed to play golf with a handicap anymore?
Has a handicap person ever complained about a handicap match being called a handicap match?
Not that I've ever heard of, but they had a handicap person have a match on this show before, remember? The legless man?
I guess you're right.
But they can't say, they can have a legless wrestler, but they can't say handicap match.
They don't say legless anymore either. He's devoid of lower extremities.
He's tubularly challenged. Anyway, it was Bobby Lashley versus some guy named Joe P. and Cheeseburger. And I'm not trying to say that Cheeseburger is not a nice young fellow. Are you familiar with Cheeseburger's course in the wrestling industry and how he got here to this point today, Brian?
I know the name. I feel like I possibly could have seen him on one of the Ring of Honor shows I had gone to.
Yes, you did.
Not really my... He was a very skinny... I remember him being skinny. I mean, it looked like he filled out a little bit. He looked bigger now than he did
Well,
then.
he's painfully thin now, and he's gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But no, and I'm not knocking him as a person. But here's Cheeseburger is a young man that was training in 2000, maybe 7, 8, whatever, out of very early with Hunter Johnston, Delirious. Delirious was operating the Ring of Honor training school and program and did through the Sinclair era as well, among 18 other jobs he did in that company. And he liked Cheeseburger. I think he got his name because he was over there that skinny and eating fucking Big Macs or whatever. But the kid, he can do all the moves. It's just physically, it's a gimmick in itself. And if if you're just going to bring him in as a job guy instead of actually working a gimmick, here this guy is like as big around as a fucking hiccup, but whatever, then it just looks stupid and funny. And he's from Reading, apparently, because about 75 hometown friends were chanting Cheeseburger, Cheeseburger. But this is Bobby Lashley's debut. He should have been in there against two guys that weren't that big, but physically 200 pounds, 210 pounds, athletic, look serious. Instead, we got Joe. The guy was trying to make the most of his time on camera by trying to sell and do everything that he was supposed to do right, but he's also green as a pepper tree. And then Cheeseburger can do all this shit, but he's visually humorous at a point in time where you don't want people to be laughing. So they made Lashley's debut match funny. And again, Hunter thought a lot of him and used him. He was on the ring crew while I was there, but he used him quite extensively. But there's nothing better with that was not the place for him. The casting department let Bobby Lashley down here with picking the right opponent visually for what they were doing. But then he mauled both of them and hurt-locked old Joe as he was supposed to, and then Swerve's music plays. And again, this is where we go from, killers to Keystone Cops. It always has to be funny somehow. Nana comes out the entranceway, and Shelton sees Nana and runs over there and chases him back through the tunnel. One would think maybe MVP, being the manager, would have gone after to leave the fucking fighter out for the still unidentified, unaccounted for Swerve Strickland. But Shelton chases Nana, who's obviously a threat in himself, all the way out of the building. And then MVP is at ringside with his cane, but he's looking around in the stands like, where's he going to come from? Where he came from was conveniently right from under the ring, right where MVP was standing with his back turned. And he goes in the ring also where Lashley's back is turned. And he hits him with a chain again. As New Jack would say, chained to the bows of a slave ship. He was chained to the back of the head again. And then he leveled MVP. MVP jumps up and he levels him. So already the manager has been punched and is down. We don't need to wait to see that anymore. And then here comes Shelton back and he nails him and he knocks him down. And then he kicks Lashley in the head and does the double stomp on him. And leaves him laying there. He stands over him first and then he leaves before Shelton and MVP can get back in the ring and do anything about it. As I told Vince McMahon one time when he was suggesting the quick fashion to beat Antonio Pena's champion, why don't we just piss in his mouth while he's down there? What they leveled Lashley?
I didn't know that was an option.
Well,
keep
see,
that in mind.
I'm the one that put it in his mind. What the fuck? Lashley's on his fucking face already. What the fuck is going on here? Are they out of their mind? Well, it's a rhetorical question. Are they out of their minds? Could you believe you were seeing in front of the pay-per-view? We don't even have to pay to see Swerve emasculate all three of these guys and make them look like goddamn Mo, Larry, and Curly. We can see it on free television. Because the fucking guy running this show is a goddamn lunatic.
To the people that argue that if Swerve's going to do the job to Bobby Lashley at the pay-per-view, he has to have something beforehand to, I don't know what, even things out or just make him. Well, what would you say to that? Is it
what even things out? I said, goddamn, Lashley needs to come back and do some more shit to him to get even with this. That's the thing. Maybe the babyface comes in and wrecks something of the heels or fucking takes the piss out of him in some embarrassing way. But again, the point is that's assuming. You said if Lashley's going to win, then doesn't Swerve have to get something? That's assuming that both guys have been in the territory and this confrontation has been planned and built for some time where both guys are at an equal level of over in this environment on this program. And that is not Lashley. It's his first fucking time wrestling on a goddamn whole show. He just got here. As I said earlier, even if he's a bigger star nationwide, Nathan Wide, baby, you have to be established in this atmosphere. You can't just hop in from fucking True Blood and and announce that now you're a character on fucking American Horror Story. You get there. Well, why are you here? And what you're going to do something for me to get me interested in you? That whole type of thing. So they're rushing this to begin with. So there is no proper answer that fits all your parameters, Brian, to try to cut this off before it goes any longer. Nothing correct fits all the parameters. But you would not, I would think, as one of the top 5 or 10 choices, have your baby face that's just started interacting with these people less than a month ago, lay out the goddamn heel opponent and make buffoons of his manager and henchman a week before not even a week before the pay-per-view, where you're trying to sell a match between them, where Swerve is supposed to try to get even for what Lashley did to him. I think Lashley needs to come back and piss in his post-toasties some more just to make it even. Now, my sympathies lie with Lashley.
They need to abandon all of this and just do another restart next week, and have the Death Riders all come out, and then have the Hurt Syndicate come out and just wipe them all out on the same show. Put Lashley over for the belt. Fuck it. And that's it.
I mean, this group could have believably taken over this company if they wanted to. But what they should have done, again, is just let Shelton and Lashley come out and look like $1 million and let MVP talk about them like they're major superstars and have them on a weekly basis. Shelton 1 week, Bobby the next. Beat people that are names on the card that have been there forever that ain't doing you any good, but they've got some cachet built up with the basic fan base, and beat them like redheaded stepchildren. And do that for 2 or 3 months, and every time you play their music and they come out, people will be roaring. Just let them do their shit.